we talked last time when we caught up. We had a discussion around the industry around it's very architect centric, and I explained to you as well that with my baby construction business that we started a couple of years ago, our with rose-colored glasses, we were like, well, we're just going to go out there and educate the market, educate the end user or the person building their home that it's better for them to get the builder in earlier rather than later, and design to budget, and and let the builder work with the architect. And what we found was we would get them very excited, and they'd go, yeah, awesome, let's get you involved early. And then they go have a meeting with the architect, and then the phone calls sort of get quite cold, and they don't return your calls that fast, because then the architect had his point of view, and obviously the architect's always going to be seen as the consultant more so, or the expert more so than the builder in the industry. And I was very frustrated about that. But then you mentioned to me, you go, well, you got to know the game that you're playing, and you got to play within the rules of the game rather than complaining about the game itself, right? Yeah. So what sort of thoughts do you have around, what game are we playing?
The construction game. Yeah, it's because a friend of mine who is a construction consultant asked me to come and speak on. He was doing a workshop over a weekend, and he said, could you come and do just like a little piece, just have a speak to them, about some of your experience. I said, well, what do you want me to talk on? He goes, oh no, just make it up. I'll walk in there and make something up. So I just put together this piece on the construction game, and it just sort of framed it up really for me, having a sporting background. It sort of helped me frame up how we approach things, and it was anyway, the 1 hour slot turned into the whole day. It was it was an interesting piece, but I guess if you walk into it knowing that it's a game and that you're not sort of a victim, but you've got some plays up your sleeve too, and just arming yourself with the correct tools so that you're not. I mean, that goes from everything, right from your company structure, how you actually set it up, so that you're not left, vulnerable and holding the baby. She spoke to a guy just before Christmas who is in that situation. He's lost everything, lost his house, lost everything. So anyway,
wow,
it's you got to be in a position where you can win, but if you can't win, because you're going to be in situations where you're just not going to be able to win, but you want to be in a position that you don't lose,
right?
And that's really important. So understanding that when you're trying to get into a tender situation, there's plays and moves that you have to make to just, because if you get invited to a tender, everyone looks good. In the architect's eyes and the client's eyes, we've got 5 builders here, and they all look fantastic. They've all got beautiful websites. They've got glowing CVs. They're all the same in their eyes. So there's things that you need to do to actually get yourself in front of them, and this all comes back to your processes and your systems when it comes to your pricing structure, even your RFIs, your quality control standards. Everything is in a nice straight line, and that when you're back and forth with the architect, back and forth with there's an angle or there's an approach that you're using. It's not generally just a question. There's an angle to it. Yep. It's like a boxing match. Everyone's happy. Everyone looks good. everyone's full of adrenaline. The project's on the way. The client's happy. So everyone looks good. Like if you compare it to a boxing match, both opponents look great.
Yeah, everyone's excited, ready to go.
Yeah. You get into the middle rounds of a boxing match, or and that's when your fight plan or your game plan really kicks in. And it's so. In terms of how you set that project up for its ultimate success, and what systems you're running for your quality control, your timekeeping for your staff, your purchase orders, and that comes back to your quantifying of the job in the first place. So that whole middle round is where all your systems really come into play. And then that's where all the money's spent too. All the money's gone in that middle part where your subcontractors have blown through all of their pre-pipe, their prefix, first fix, all that money's gone. So now you've got to, hopefully you've managed things well enough, and you've managed your people well enough that they're willing to come back to finish off. And then it's really closing out that project, and then having again, there's systems to close it out in terms of, like there's lots of things in your arsenal. If you have to pull contract on people, so that's another important one. There's a whole, I can't even go through it because there's so many pages in this thing to go through. But having subcontract agreements, so that if you do have to pull contract on somebody, you can. But generally, that's a last resort. You want to get them there, so that they want to be there. So
yeah, for sure.
So there's ways to approach them. There's ways to do those things and close that project out for its ultimate success. There's, I guess, when you're looking at quality control, I guess it's worth mentioning that it's so we have from level 1 to 5 in terms of customer satisfaction, and it doesn't mean they're any less valuable. It just means that it's more a case of the amount of work that has to go in to make them satisfied.
Yeah, and are those like levels of kind of account management or service? What would you call it? Like,
so a customer satisfaction level 1 might be a fence on a rental for a client.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
They're not going to be there. You have to do the basics. Leave the site clean and tidy and all the rest of it. But you're not going to require the full belts and braces quality control process that you're going to need for a level 5. A level 5 would be a very high value client with a high value residential build that they have had a lot of input into the design, which is sometimes don't have any input into the design, and they just advocate everything and trust to the architect. But then you've got an architect who's basically giving you their baby, and trusting you with the construction of this masterpiece.
Yeah.
So, and then the architect, to keep everyone honest, might employ an independent project manager and an independent quantity surveyor. So for that, you need level 5 full wraparound support for that client. You need quality control milestones. You need lots of RFIs. There's lots of back end admin, lots of front end admin. So there's lots of ITPs, which is your inspection testing plans, and so there's levels. Now, generally we like to sit between 3 and 4, and because most of our systems are going to operate anyway. So if we do get into this situation where the client is employing an extra couple of outside consultants, then we know, okay, well, we have to ramp up our response to that to prove what we can already do. But this is a cost involved to that.